All things must pass, but I'm not gonna wake up, wake up. I'm not ready, let me have another day. Don't wake up, wake up. Keep it steady, cause I'm happy, I'm not gonna wake up. No, not yet, whoa. No, not yet, whoa. No, not yet, whoa. I'm afraid I'll end up nowhere. They keep saying I'll be fine, but how you know that I'll be there when it feels like I'm lying every time someone asks how it goes, and I save the details that actually mean something. Sun is shining, but the rain is welcome too. Friends are nearby, don't need another view. Time is not on my mind, but then it's you. Oh, I love it when the love comes around, and then I remember all things.
I just got to turn that music on and I plug into Rebellious Business Network mode. It's like being a robot that just gets plugged in and then starts working. Welcome, everybody.
Rebellious business vibes.
the Rebellious Business vibes. Yeah, we do love it when we're doing like live events that aren't live streamed, and we can use like Fleetwood Mac, a little bit of I don't know, can't think of any artists off the top of my head. Little bit of
Yeah, just Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, just Fleetwood Mac. Usually it's just Fleetwood Mac, let's be honest. How are we doing, guys? Good to see you all here. Welcome. And hello to everybody over on Facebook. If you are tuning in for the first time, we're here every Wednesday at 10:30 for the Rebellious Business Show. I'm Cordelia Kate, the Rebellious Business Coach, alongside Caroline Antonia, the Rebellious Messaging Coach. And we support business owners to build incredible communities and build an amazing audience and use simple and powerful methods to get clients, essentially using the wonderful world of social media. So that's who we are, that's what we do. And this show is here live every week to bring you trainings, tips, tricks, support, guest experts, things to help you flourish, develop as an entrepreneur, as well as build a business you love. And today, Caroline is going to be helping you with something really, really, really important that a lot of people generally need help with, because it's something that is quite challenging, and that is creating a package and the messaging around a package so that people understand what it is that you're selling, why it is that you're selling it, and why it is that they need it. And so that's something that we help our clients with when they come on board. Caroline does. And so she's bringing some of that magic to you guys here on the Rebellious Business Show today. Before we kick off with that, couple of little kind of pre-show announcements. The first pre-show announcement is that I've just had word from John Pemberthy. He sent me a message this morning. If you don't know who John Pemberthy is, he is founder of Ad Clients and the event AdCon. And I'm going to be speaking at AdCon in May, which is super exciting. And he came on the show last week. Was it last week? The last couple of weeks has been a blur. We came on the show recently. And he gave us a secret kind of backdoor link, because everywhere on the website, you know, he's even running ads to AdCon, and you click on the link of those ads and there's no tickets available because they are maxed out. And they've been trying to figure out how many more spaces they can create so that people can come along to ad, so that they can put tickets back on sale. He's just given me a heads up that he's figured that out, and there are tickets going back on sale on Friday. But when they go back on sale, they're going to be around £500 or £400. And so he just wanted to let me know that by Friday, the secret backdoor link that we've got, which gives you a £300 early bird ticket to a 3-day event, by the way, that is essentially going to give you an entire blueprint to build and grow a scalable business. That will be gone on Friday. So if you are thinking about coming to AdCon, we now have an official deadline for when that backdoor link is going to be gone, and the price is going to have increased. On top of that, he told me this morning that our discount code for Rebels is still going to be working this week as well. So if you I'll get in FOMO about AdCon. If you want to come to AdCon, if you want to come and hang out with Team Rebellious, and a couple of you have bought tickets in the last couple of days. It's really exciting. I've got my list of people that are going to be there. We're going to go Wagamamas. We're going to have a great time. If you want to come and join us, and also you want to come along to a really amazing 3-day event and come and be a part of Team Rebellious at AdCon, then I will drop a link everywhere in a moment when I've handed over the microphone to Caroline, so that you guys can check that out. And if it fits in with your schedule, come along, because it's going to be epic. It's going to be a really fun 3 days, and you'll get a hell of a lot out of it. So that is the news that I wanted to share with you this morning. Caroline,
We've got 2 people in the waiting room. Get these guys in.
Oh, they are joining. I think might be laggy internet. There we go. They're in.
I feel like we need to get like here on Rebellious News. Like
I can definitely get a soundboard up. I think we need
a sound for that. Like, this is the news. Also, we have forgotten to mention our sponsors. This show is sponsored by DJ Tutorials. DJ Tutorials teaches you how to go from being a bedroom DJ to getting your first paid gigs, from everywhere from visibility, strategy, to improving your DJing skills, to all of the things, marketing and management, and all of the things that you need. Currently, DJ Tutorials hosts Dex Education weekly and is looking for guest experts. This does not have to be relevant to DJing, but if you feel like your expertise, your skill sets could be applied to that of a DJ, sort of a budding DJ, to help them get better visibility on social media, to manage their finances. I can't imagine DJs are the best with their finances. If I was to hazard a guess on, messaging, like we're going to go over today, all the things, and like most things are applicable to everyone. So if your business is relevant for that, then get in touch with, have we got the link for that? DJ Tutorials, and apply to speak on the Dex Education show. Mark is a very dear client of ours. Oh Lord, did my foundation just fall on the floor and split open? No, maybe
we've had quite a few rebels actually apply for a speaking slot with Mark, which is super exciting. He's running a show a bit like this one, and one of the issues that we have as event organizers, if we may call ourselves that, is that we're always on the lookout for fantastic speakers or fantastic guests that can come and bring a load of value. And so we're looking to fill, or Mark's looking to fill, his calendar fit to boot with speakers over the next year. And so this is something that you need to do next week. You can get booked in for a few months' time, but essentially the more speaking gigs as business owners, the more speaking gigs you can get, the better. So this is a really awesome opportunity for you to get booked in to speak in front of his audience. And he's been getting great traction, by the way. Like he's had a couple of really high profile DJs share his content recently. He's launched a podcast with a view to, there's specifically one guest that he wants to get on there, and that's just going to be the beginning. So his audience is quite large. He's doing really well. He's getting a lot of momentum with what he's doing. And it's a great opportunity for you guys. So I am waffling as I try and find the link. I've got 2 links to give you. And I'm going to get it, and I'm going to give it to you, and you can go ahead and apply for that.
Amazing.
I've got it. It is here. Right. For those of you on Zoom, coming to you right now. And for those of you on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, not Instagram, we're not on Instagram. We haven't managed to figure out Instagram. We tried, it didn't work. Facebook, YouTube or LinkedIn. I'm going to get Jennifer to drop the link into Restream for you now, which will jump everywhere as well. Cool. What next, Caroline?
Well, it seems like we had like a good number of people joining on the live, and I think this is a topic that really appeals to our audience. So I want to get some engagement on there. If you guys are interested or struggling with communicating your package, right? What is it that you offer? What do you provide as a service to your clients? And that you provide an amazing service. You know that what you offer is like top drawer, but how do you communicate that? Maybe you've got on a sales call and you're like, I don't know what it is. They're like, what is it? You're like, oh, I don't know. It's just great. It's just great. It's just going to help you in all the ways. Or you've got to put out some social media promotions. We teach our rebels how to promote themselves with small audiences, but in those cases, you need to be specific, right? You need to really get the clarity through, because if you're talking to small numbers, then clarity is essential. The bigger the numbers, the more broader you can be in some ways. But small numbers, you have to be super clear. So who struggles to communicate their value? Or is it a case of like, what is your package? Like, what is the offer? If you're in the realm of, let's say, website design, right? Like what's the package you're creating for them? Or if you're a consultant, is it a one-to-one, or is it a group? Like, how do you clarify what it is that you're promoting in your message? Where does that come from? So I'd love to get in the chat what it like, how you feel, how strong do you feel about your offer and how you promote it? That's what I'd like to know. Let's get into, and then we're going to talk about like why this is a problem. Actually, I'll just talk about it now. I find, especially with consultants, but it does really apply to everyone. If you provide a service, if you're working one-to-one with clients, it's not it is trading your time for money. You are the product. It's very hard to define what you are providing in a service, because you have to define yourself. And how do you summarize that in a 500-word Facebook post if you're promoting yourself? It's really hard. So a lot of the time we can get like really confused, or we try and change niches, or we hone in on this thing, and it's really just not that helpful. I worked with business owners since 2017 on clarifying their message. And as soon as I get on a call with them, I always found this really interesting. I'd be like, okay, so what do you do? And they would go into, oh, I help people change their life. I help people improve their health. I help people this, that, the other. And it's like, okay, but that's not really telling me exactly, like, it doesn't really communicate the value that you're doing. Like, I think marketing education really delves into, speak to the benefits, speak to the outcomes, speak to the bigger purpose or whatever. I'm going to hide this chat because it's getting me a bit distracted. And that's not the most helpful way to communicate your message, because it's fuzzy, right? So are you feeling fuzzy in your message? Are you feeling fuzzy in your offer? How do you clarify that? How do you get into the confidence of going, this is what I do, this is how it works, this is how much it costs, this is why it's great? That's really what you want to get to as any kind of service-based business. You want to get that level of clarity, not just because, well, it's useful for you, but like I said, it gives you that confidence to go out and promote it. It gives you the confidence to write a Facebook post saying, this is what I'm doing, this is what I offer, this is why it's great. Like, that's really the key of promotions. When I'm working with businesses on copywriting, there's this idea that you've got to learn hypnotic wording, and you've got to like really finesse the levels of copywriting to produce brilliant wordsmithery. And I'm just thinking, like, no, you just need to tell me what you do as a starting point. Like, 90% of the words I see online, oh, my hand was raised there. Just so there's a little icon sharp. Anyway, 90% of what I see online is written really badly, just because it's not even clear what the fuck is going on. So I always said to my clients, it's like, you don't need to master words. You don't need to master copywriting. Right now, just to stand out, you only need to be clear. And like, really good writing, if you read the really, really like good books, they're just clear and they're simple. So you don't need to master the art of copywriting, or, I don't know, flower up everything. Just clarity will cut through 90% of what's online, because no one's clear. And also, I think this also breeds another problem, is that people look at what other people are doing for a model on how they should write their copy, or create a promotional post, or, I don't know, get sales calls booked in or whatever. They go, oh, okay, well, this post is doing, like, this post is here and it's promoting sales calls, so I'm going to model this. But I've seen behind the curtain, majority of these promotions don't work. Like they fall flat. They're really not effective. But when we see it online, maybe it's got like someone with a fancy branded headshot and, you know, all these cool graphics or whatever. We put a lot of authority into that and presume, oh, okay, I'm going to model this. So what is happening is everyone's learning from people that are terrible. So it's just creating more terrible stuff. Now, this isn't just a nightmarish situation, because actually you use this to your advantage, because you do not need to be that much better than to like at the skill you're at to cut through. You only have to speak clearly. It's like the competition barrier is really low. I really want to get that across. Majority of stuff I see, even from businesses, like big businesses, sometimes I'm like, that was written like terribly. Often it would be at least clear and like there's some like obvious. It's like, oh yeah, well at least I know what's going on, but it's not written well. It's not particularly like magical in terms or engaging or enthralling. So you don't need to be a master copywriter to get your promotions seen, heard, and engaged with. You just need to be clear and speak to a problem. And that's as far as I would go in terms of the messaging. Like when we talk about messaging, we think about what's their big outcome, what's the big the benefits. Like never talk about the features. God no, don't talk about the features, just talk about the benefits. And I say you want to angle the feature, you want to talk about features in a sense, but the way you angle it is to speak into a specific benefit. Anyway, that's getting a bit abstract there. How's everyone coping with that? I'm intrigued. We got stuff in the chat going on.
The chat's been blowing up. There's
oh wow.
Yeah, and there's lots of people watching over on Facebook as well. Guys, if you've got questions as we go through this, let me just add me to the spotlight so I'm not like playing voice of God. If we've got questions as we go through this, please drop them in, and I'm going to be queuing them up for Caroline for the Q&A towards the end of this. Charlotte saying, I work one-to-one with menopausal women with gut issues. I do polls, educational literature, myth busting, and stories on LinkedIn and Facebook. Not always getting a lot of traction. Michael says, it's about selling the invisible. People see only the surface of web pages, but not the mess running under the hood. And Deb says, based on conversations I've been having recently, I think my original idea is changing. Claudia's saying,
oh, that's a common one. That is a real common one. When there's a real failure to launch thing there, Deb, I would say, like when you're starting out, and this is where I'm talking, especially as a service-based business owner, you are your product. So you can do so many things, personal, professional, like in all the domains, business, I don't know, however many domains there are, but so many options available to you that you have the luxury to second guess your ideas in favor of other ones. And if you sit on an idea long enough, you'll talk yourself right out of it. Like, it's so easy because you'll go, well, actually, I've got this idea, but actually it's got these faults. And then this other idea doesn't have these faults. So maybe that's better. And then you go with that idea. And then the next thing is like, oh, well, this idea also has those faults, whereas this idea didn't. So maybe I'll go back to it. And you'll be playing like an idea chasing game. And this is why I called my consultancy Launchable, because what you want to start with is a launchable message. You want to craft a message that's like, okay, I'm just going to test this. I'm going to put this out, and this is what I'm going to work with, and then go from there. And what happens is when you get feedback, then you from an audience, right? Not just like people that you speak to or people, I don't know, just people that are not your prospects. If you can get into a network and start connecting with people in your area saying, I provide this service, this is the outlay of it, etc., and you get feedback or you work with people, then you start to refine it and go, oh, okay, like these are the problems that these people are actually having that I haven't anticipated. So that's all a bit abstract. I'll give you an example with my own service. I started completely free as well. We talk about this a lot. I was running webinars in a business community. I was learning digital marketing skills, affiliate marketing specifically, and there was a massive gap in the digital marketing training on messaging. And I started hosting webinars and saying, hi, if you want to know more about this, how to like structure an ad or how to like communicate your message better, come, like these webinars are for that. And I wasn't doing it to make money. I was just trying to help. And I was also wanting to create content. And as a result of that, I had people reaching out asking to work with me. Now, I had no idea what my package was or what to do. I was just completely bewildered by crafting any sort of business out of this. But what happened was when I got on calls with people, I very quickly saw a pattern from talking to people, which was that their messaging was always fuzzy. It was never like, oh, my message doesn't sparkle enough, or my message doesn't, like, I don't know. They always were confused about what they were saying. Now, this is it. Most of those people were affiliate marketing people, affiliate marketers and coaches, but it didn't change the fact that their message was fuzzy. And I was like, okay. So then I started creating content, which was like unfuzz your messaging. And that really took off. That was very popular. I was very surprised like how many people connected with that. So it's like when I started, it was very much like, it was just like, no idea what I'm doing, but putting out it kind of the concepts of what I'm thinking about. And then people getting in touch with me purely because I'm putting myself out there, by the way. Like what I was saying back then and the content I was producing was pretty poor. Like it wasn't great. It's just that I was demonstrating an awareness about messaging and copywriting, enough so that people who were within this community could tell that I could add some value. Then they got in contact and then I was able to refine it. So it was through having clients that helped me refine it, but it was from having a very basic message to start with that was able to get clients through the door. So what we teach in Rebellious is to get your launchable North Star. So the North Star is obviously what sort of guides your message. So if you've got your North Star, what you want to do is you want to, that's your messaging strategy. So everything that you put into any piece of copywriting points at this North Star. What is this North Star? Is it if you're, for instance, health and helping people with gut, is it this one-to-one is going to give them hand holding, as an example, like, so helping you help yourself. Like that could be a general message. Like that's what coaching could do. Or it could be it could be very much like education on your health is the key to solving it, right? Like where do your values point? So you've got to kind of find like a point of like what your niche is in your topic. So if you're working with gut health, etc., that's the sort of the subject area. But the value of what you're offering is that help or support or education. So you blend these things together. But that's like, this is just kind of, I like to say like you're like chucking a dart, right? Like it's throwing a dart at a dartboard and seeing what sticks. Or how far away are you? How far off are you from hitting that target? And so when you look at where it's landed, you can say, okay, that landed really far off, and then you can pivot. So that's why we call it launchable, because it's like you just need something to launch. So you've got to, if you haven't put your message out there and tested it to see what kind of traction it gets, then you can't start jumping niches, because otherwise you're forever going to be in that spot of jumping niches. But by putting your message out there, even if you get one or two people, those two connections are going to have a massive impact on what you know about your prospects, because like you can just speak to that person, and it really the smaller you can isolate the problem, the better you can communicate to it. So I started communicating to unfuzz your messaging, which majority of people around me on my social media, they would not have understood what that meant. But the very few people that I wanted to work with would understand what that meant. So it cut through and spoke to those people. Cordelia, you've shown your face.
Can you give us some examples of some fuzzy messaging that just doesn't connect?
Well, how about the one we had today? What did we have? We were laughing because I kind of whipped together this. What was the name? What was the What did Jennifer say this call was called?
Oh yeah.
Master your messages from fluff to clarity.
Master your messaging from fluff to clarity.
Yeah, okay. So that could be fluffy in its own way because, yeah, I mean, I think that's all right, to be fair. That's all right for a launchable one. I think we can do better. I would more say, what I would include, I think, let's talk about headline for a starting point. Okay. So let's like build the content up from scratch. So let's say you're presenting a call like this one today. Okay. And from this call, you're going to ask for one-to-ones. And actually we have got an offer. So I'm going to share with you, we'll reverse engineer this. I'm going to share with you a quick bonus promotion that we've got going on. And that's kind of where you want to start. What is your promotion or what is your offer to start with? And then we'll work back with so let's say with an offer. So as a messaging coach, and something we've seen a lot recently in our audience is we can teach you all the marketing stuff, we can give you all the promotional strategies, but we're seeing a big issue with the messaging, hence why we're doing this call. So I can give you some clarity. Now, an offer we're going to provide and give to you is that we are going to be giving 5 people an opportunity to have a one-to-one with me. This is free, but we are going to be selective about those who gets those calls, to give us some more market research and also to try and help out our rebels. We're being very generous around our 4th birthday. So we're going to be, the point of this call is that going here, if you were interested in getting a one-to-one with me to refine and clarify your launchable North Star, so you can get your message to market, you can feel confident in what you're saying, then we're going to be asking for applications to be one of these 5 people that gets a one-to-one with me. So that's the offer, basically. Now, I've got to create content in my head, which will, for this call, which will do the best I can do so that you don't need to book that call. This is a really important element. If I could make it so you guys could learn absolutely everything I know that will help you get your message to market so you don't need to book that call, that's my mission. The outcome of that will be that you guys see a value in me that you want to connect with. That's a really important part. I'm really not going to try and fluff up everything here. I'm going to really try and give you as much practical, useful stuff to go away so that you don't need to book that call or you don't feel like that's something you're in need of. The chances of me being able to achieve that, I'm not like that. I'm not that confident that I'll be able to achieve that. I think there'll be people that will still want that call, if not a lot of people. But the point is, when I've got this link to book out, which you guys should all be sort of doing, you should be putting out a link to get on a call with you to offer some kind of strategy or some kind of value or whatever as a starting point to build relationships. You want to attach it to a piece of nurture content that does the job that you're going to help them with on the call. But the difference is on the call, we're working one-to-one. I can't achieve that with you on this call. I can only give you the theory. I can only give you the education of it. I cannot work with you one-to-one. And in a lot of cases, I can do a hot seat, which also presents that and gives a bit more of that clarity on application. But ultimately, it is all going to still feel theoretical. You're not going to know exactly how to apply it to your business. So what I want to do is showcase the value I have to offer so that you want that one-to-one with me, because the next step, the value is in the one-to-one, not in the content. If you give away the content and then you present a one-to-one, that's the value you want to be promoting in that offer. So the offer itself would therefore be an offer for a one-to-one to get the benefits, like in a interactive dynamic, which means it takes the content I'm sharing and applies it to your circumstances. That's pretty much a ballpark offer that you can just take on anything. If you're offering any one-to-ones, you put it on the back of a piece of nurture content that's super valuable. You don't need to sell it on, oh, it's going to help you do this, it's going to help you do this. No, the value is just your time at that point. That's all you need to sell. You just need to say, this one-to-one will, and the elements of the one-to-one is it'll be half hour or however long you want to do. I'm going to be asking you questions to understand your business. I'm going to be applying a specific strategy to help you overcome something in a very short space of time. So we call this a high value quick fix, so the call is a high value quick fix. You want to help them fix something very quickly that will have a high value to them, but it's low maintenance for you. Like, you can spare half hour to connect with your audience on a one-to-one. So this is like reverse engineering that map, right? Like, okay, so by the time you get to the offer, the actual package, it's just a one-to-one call. Like, the value is in your time. All of the other stuff before that will be highlighting and showcasing your value. So you don't have to sell it when you're offering out the one-to-ones. Okay, so let's say that's the offer. We are offering that. So I've done a bit of reverse engineer. It feels a bit meta, actually. And so the next step would be, okay, what do I craft a piece of content around that I could put out in the world? Also, what would be great is, like we gave the link earlier with DJ Tutorials, which is the Dex Education show, getting yourself on shows or on seats like this, which would be really helpful, so that you've got a platform already to communicate to if you don't already have that platform. However, if you've done anything with our Tribe Funnels training, you can also use that content that we're going to, that you're creating, to attract people to you. It could be a two-way thing. And we like a system of all systems, where you create content and attract clients and grow your audience all in one. But regardless, you'd ideally like to have people on this piece of content, like in a call. But if not, don't worry about it, because you can repurpose it, post it out, promote it. So then we've got the promotion of that content. So this call, I want to be speaking to the audience. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm writing the post which goes on to this call, i.e. on Facebook, there's a post that's written for this exact call that is geared towards getting people to watch the lives. So how do I write that? That's kind of what I can go over now. Think about my audience, and I use wording to specifically talk to my audience. So, for instance, I know, so the messaging and copywriting thing is pretty much one message across the board, right? Like, clarify your message, or improve your wording. Like, the skills for copywriting are pretty standard, okay? But I know that my audience of service-based businesses and consultants and coaches struggle with clarification. They struggle to make their message cut through the noise. So what I want to do is I want to speak to them about that problem. Say, hey, coach, consultant, service-based business, is your message getting lost in, like, are you getting lost in your message? Like, is it fuzzy? This is a word, and this is a word that they use with me a lot. Fuzzy. Is it fuzzy or all over the place? So then we connect to that word, like we connect to those specific words. Hey, coach, consultant, do you struggle to clarify your message? So we get into that. Basically, how am I getting on with everyone? Am I getting confusing?
There's no confusion in the chat, a bit of excitement about the idea of a one-to-one with you to unfuzz messaging. One thing I would love to speak into a little bit is that there is this, and you've touched on this, Caroline, I think it would be worth us just expanding on this just very briefly. There is this kind of confusion that a lot of people have about giving too much away for free. And what Caroline's just explained is that she likes to get on a call and give you everything she's got to try and support you to see her value, essentially, to basically, she's going to try and give you everything you could possibly need to unfuzz your message on this call, so that you don't need to book the call. But what I think that will bring up for some people is, yeah, but like, is that not giving everything away? Like, am I not supposed to kind of hold my cards to my chest and not share all the goods? Because if I do, then people won't want to buy my course or my program or my one-to-one. So can you speak into that? Like, why do we give everything away for free in that way?
Because we don't really. I don't have the time to give everything away for free. Like, I give away as much as I can for free. Like, and we make this mistake a lot, that we really want to give more away than we can. But the fact of the matter is, it's just not feasible. Like, and you guys all know this as well. You know that it's not feasible to give everything away, for free. But what you want to do, and I think this is a better way of approaching it, is you want to have a forward-facing message that you repeat again and again and again, and you get really good at that forward-facing message, that it becomes very solid and clear, and it's very easy to keep going. And what happens is that forward-facing message becomes very strong. So it becomes very valuable. The more confidence you have in your forward-facing message, the more clarity you're going to present, the more value you're going to present. But ultimately, past messaging, that's not my only value, right? Like, my only value is not messaging. That is just the forward-facing problem that my clients struggle with, that attracts them to me as well. What happens is they also don't know how to what the methodology of their business is, what the different elements of their business is, what they should be saying in different emails. Like, it applies to this huge system in the back end. And so how I figure it out is I go, okay, I kind of have a methodology that applies to everything that you do, right? So my methodology applies to a landing page, it applies to an email, it applies to a book. I have a very simple methodology, which is relate, demonstrate, validate. And in terms of messaging, it's what, how, what, immediate benefit, why. Okay, so we'll get into that in a second as well, because that'll be really helpful for you. And Mark, interesting enough, is my case study on this, because he learned my launchable method, launchable copywriting formula. He applies it across the board. His Facebook page is blowing up. We had definitely noticed a difference when we do the launchable writing style. One of my clients that I worked with one-to-one, her YouTube, she sent me a voice note the other day. Bear in mind, she's got hundreds of thousands of views on some of her YouTube videos, said, when I look back at my stats, it's always the videos that we worked on together and which we applied your launchable messaging formula that gets the best results. The reason for that is because it connects, it solves a problem, and it validates it. We'll get into that in a second. So anyway, in terms of giving everything away at the beginning, it's giving away everything at the beginning that they want, not what they need. Okay, so like, I can give you my launchable messaging formula, because you go, oh, okay, my messaging is like, I don't really know how to structure copy. A big issue with copywriting is, we'll go into two scenarios. Actually, we start with messaging. Messaging, I don't know what my message is. Okay, so let's get into the most basic framework to clarify your message. Actually, answering the question is the forward-facing problem first, right? So I've got a lot more to offer. So I give you as much information and value as I can on the immediate problem that you're struggling with, that will demonstrate that I have the skills to solve your bigger problems. That's more of the point, in terms of, you can't give everything away free because you've got so much to give away. It just won't work. You just won't have the time. Then you'll prioritize the money. So what we want is to create a one forward-facing message that we provide so much value to. Just keep pounding that message, basically. And that mine is about unfuzzing your message and clarifying it. So I could do loads of calls on this, but you are not going to have the one-to-one support and application on your message that you will have by working with me. You will not have that just from me talking. It just won't happen. So it will cultivate authority for me and an interest. And also, you're going to think, oh, this person's got integrity. She's really trying to help me here. She's not holding her cards back. She's not trying to withhold, or there's no spammy sales thing going on. It's what you see is what you get. I genuinely believe this person wants to help me. So then let's go. So this is all in terms of getting a strong messaging strategy. Okay, most basics. If everyone's got a piece of paper, we want you to write this down. Actually, I've got some worksheets somewhere. We'll have to get some of these out. What you've got, actually, we're going to start, so to clarify a piece of copywriting, this isn't really the package, but we'll clarify the piece of copywriting. What is your product? Now, as a starting point, it should be no longer than a line, okay? So And also, do not get tempted by description or analysis. Not description. Do not get tempted by analysis or experience, right? So you just literally, what's in the box? So and the reason I'll tell you why I start this way in a minute, but what is in the box? Okay, so I offer, as an example, okay, so what's in the box of the one-to-ones that we're offering? A one-to-one half hour to refine your star messaging strategy. Okay, that's it. Now, people don't need to necessarily know what that means, but that will be my offer, my message. Okay, you want to get as clear and as little waffle, as little fluff, just write down exactly what it is. A one-to-one that, a half hour one-to-one, even we can add when you start to add details, they have to be details that have a substance. It can't be a fantastic one-to-one that overcomes your fear of getting out in front of an audience of people and helps you elevate your third chakra, right? I mean, to be fair, like there can be a chakra cleansing call, like whatever. I've worked with people who've been like, it's a one-to-one to clean your chakras. Very simple. Okay. Don't use any adjectives. Fantastic, brilliant, or at least fuzzy adjectives. Fadjectives. I just made up a new word. You want to use adjectives that are like, okay, extensive. If it means if it's an adjective that has substance, if you're going to use any. Long, like if it's a long course. Short. These words that actually have substance. Nothing that's like fluff, like fantastic, amazing, whatever. And if you keep it short, each word will just be like very descriptive of one-to-one, Zoom call, half an hour, launchable North Star. That's my package name, etc. That's the what. Okay, should be a line. The next step is to have the immediate benefit. Okay, and there's a reason why I say immediate benefit. So the immediate benefit, what is the immediate benefit someone will have at the end of getting off that launchable North Star messaging call, even if they do not buy anything or work with me or whatever? Like, what is the contained immediate benefit? I never see this person ever again. What's the immediate benefit of that call? They are going to feel clearer on their messaging, their package messaging, or what their offer is that they can take to market right away and test. That's the immediate benefit of that call. Okay, so it's like you see how I'm getting like really like straight into like this is me like really up close to like the like a microphone thing. I'm like really up close. Like, what is this? Like I'm there's no like grand vision here. There's no like blurry. It's all just like very contained of like and clear. This is what you get. And so what immediate benefit, and then why? The why is where you get to think bigger. So there's a reason why I do it in this order. So the why is, okay, so why does someone want the immediate benefit? Okay, well, because they're not feeling confident in promoting their one-to-ones to bring clients into their business. They want to have more clients through the door. Yeah, maybe that's a bit waffly, but even then, when you say, why do you want that immediate benefit? What's happening there is that I'm not saying, what's your big life purpose? What are you trying to achieve in life? It's very, very like, okay, this is what I'm offering. This is the immediate benefit of it. So now I've just got to understand why someone wants that immediate benefit. There's no luxury for me to talk about their future vision or their big life purpose or their desire for time and financial freedom or more hours in the day with their kids. Like, I don't have that to sell to someone. And this was one of the problems I was solving with this framework, is that when I was working with people, I would say, what are you selling? They'd be like, more time at home with their children. I'm like, I don't think you are. I don't think you are. That might be a benefit somewhere along the line, but like, it's really not the benefit you have at your disposal right now. And then they'd say, what are you selling? Oh, well, even I could even say, oh, clarity over their value in the world. I could say that, but it's like, I don't really have that to offer. Or what I have to offer is my time. That's the what. That will help them feel clearer because they're not confident in portraying their value. Much simpler, much clearer. That is essentially your launchable North Star. As a very basic, if we're just doing like a post type thing. So that's how you get a message down for a post. Okay. Interestingly, how do people feel about that?
Well, no, I think one thing I just want to chat with you, Caroline, can you just click on the PDF that I've just dropped into the chat? Because I think this might be the workbook that you were talking about.
Oh, okay.
We could give to everybody.
Basically, no, we don't give things for free.
Oh, no, we don't. Oh, well, we do.
Yes.
So our Rebels, we do. What I'm going to do, is that the one?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, no, this is a bit more. Oh, I made it a bit too complicated. This is a real good lesson in complication. Okay. Yes, it is. The only problem is like, just do the first three. Like, so this is the full messaging process. So if you want to create a full piece of like copywriting, it gets a bit complicated towards the end. I like to keep it simple to start with, where I just do the top three, which is the what, immediate benefit, and the why. When you go through that, it goes through much more on what all the other things that could be included in your copywriting. So if you want it, so this is great for two things. One, the basics, but also two, the extensive side of producing copy. But that's not the framework.
So I will pop the workbook inside the Rebellious Business Network, and I will pin it to the top for the next 24 hours. So if you're not in the network, go to Facebook, search for Rebellious Business Network, and you'll find us. It will be in there. And then you just want to, when you get that PDF, it's got 12 pages. You just want to look at the first 3 points. It's split into, I think, 9 points. 7,
yeah, 9.
9. Yeah, 9 points. You just want to basically grab the first 3 points. They are the most important to just help you create a compelling offer.
But the other points will help you produce a whole post. So this gets into the next problem. So you've got your message, let's say. How the hell do you write that? Like, okay, it could be these 3 words, but there is actually much more that needs to go into a piece of copy. And the other steps underneath, they do help sort of flesh it out. Okay, it helps you sort of, basically what it does, it helps you get, I used to call this just the point, but now it's the North Star. You get this top bit, like these 3 things, and that acts as the North Star. And then the rest is about bolting on the relevant piece of information that helps reinforce the message. So here's your suggestion, like, I will help you with this is what you get. And then you providing evidence or different concepts that help to highlight the value of that, or promote it, or increase the authority. So it's all of that like stuff there. But the next question comes along, which is like, oh Lord, how on earth do I write this out? And now here's the next problem. This was the problem I actually set out to achieve or to solve when I first started consulting, was when I was watching people's videos or when I was reading their content, it would always just go on, right? Like they would say, okay, like, do you want to change your life or have more freedom or blah? And because this is a whole long story about me going from rags to not really riches to but nearly making it, and having this big epiphany, and experiencing this dreadful downfall. And then my dog died, and I lost everything, and I had to dumpster dive and eat from chucked out KFC chicken bones. I don't know. Like, and then it's like, oh no, but then it all went great, and then I was good. And you're like, by the end of it, you're like, well, I have no idea what you are promoting. I have no idea what's going on. It's like, sometimes you'd feel like, oh, we're nearly getting to a promotion. We're nearly getting to the point. And then they just go off on a different tangent. So what I did was I created a structure, which is like, you've got to hit these 3 frameworks, these 3 pillars, and then you are not allowed to go back over trodden ground or like try and reinforce that. Okay, so it's like this strategy to keep you moving through the points that you need to move through to create a full post without you going around the houses. So the way we do that is what I call the launchable formula. The shortened version is relate, demonstrate, validate. You're going to relate to your customers' problems. Okay. So for me right now, it's you feel fuzzy and you're not confident in promoting your offer. The solution will be unfuzz your messaging using a simple framework. So this is my problem solution, and I'll have a call to action within the first 3 lines of that advert. I usually have about 50 words per point. So the relate section is just the problem solution call to action. So I always have a call to action very fast, not because it's the best way to write copy, but because it stops you from going all around the houses before you make your promotion and they have no idea what you're talking about. You want them to know what you're offering really fast. You want to get that call to action out really fast, just to it's what we like. It's almost like low hanging fruit. If someone wants that, they're going to explore it. And if they don't want it, they're going to click off, which is fine. And if they're not sure, if they need some more warming up, they're going to continue to read or they're going to continue to watch, which means that you don't need to write more on this same point. Like once you've related and you've got that first call to action, you're not allowed to talk about the relating anymore. You're done. That's it. Game over. Now you've got to, for anyone who's reading past that first call to action, now you are connecting on the benefits and the features of what the call to action provides. So then you're taking that call to action and you're expanding on that call to action. Okay, so you are not confident in promoting your offer. You want to unfuzz it and feel clear about your value that you can promote. Book a one-to-one launchable North Star session with me or apply for one. Click this link. Next is going into the value of the launchable North Star message. Right. So I've not gone all the way through the houses to get this promotion out. It's like, this is it. This is the structure. So now anyone reading past and what this also does is it's rewarding the people that are staying longer because they're relevant. Okay. So it's not the most engaging thing, right? It's not like a really engaging story. There's no flash bang, oh, there's this drama or whatever. And that is really good writing, but it's not great promotion. It's not that clear. And if you just get this clarity down, like I said, you'll cut through 90% of what's out there. So once you've got that relate section down, the next section is demonstrate, which is feature, benefit, call to action. Okay. 3 features, 3 benefits of those features, call to action again. So it's going to be half hour, which means it's not going to waste, this might not be the best feature benefit. It's going to be half an hour, which means it's not much of your time or energy. It's going to be quick. So the half hour is a feature. The benefit of the half hour, I could position that in lots of ways. I could say it's half hour, so it's extensive. It's not like a 10-minute, or I could say it's half hour, so it's really quick. It's going to be over in a second, and it's going to be really powerful, right? In that you get to pick how that benefit is applicable and relevant to your audience. Some people might be like, oh, half hour, that's quite a while. That's not exactly like a quick flash in the pan. Next benefit feature would be, I apply the launchable formula to your offer so that you get that one-to-one feedback and relevance to you, right? And you go through the benefits like that. Call to action. So if you're interested, click this link, book. Now you're not allowed to talk about features or benefits again. You've put your stake in the ground. You've related to them, their pains, their problems. You've promoted. Then you demonstrate the value. Feature, benefit. Stake in the ground. Call to action. No more turning back. Now you can go into storytelling mode, which is the validate section. So you've done all that prep here, but then you want to, and the storytelling will be an example of someone who's benefited, and you could tell their story. So we had a really cool story going out, I think yesterday. Claudia, one of our clients, she literally had this. She didn't feel confident in her messaging, and now she feels very confident, having refined it, working with us, that she's getting clients because she knows what to say. So I can say, Claudia, this type of coach, this type of person was struggling with this area, right? You see how I can now get into a relevant storytelling mode, not some my life was in tatters and it was saved and the salvation rags to riches craziness. I'm going into relevance. Yeah, Cordelia's right. Clarity does give so much confidence. Okay, so and that's the validate section. Now I know I've breezed over this. So we've got the messaging, which is the what, the immediate benefit, the why, and the copywriting structure, relate, demonstrate, validate. That's essentially the framework of everything you need to write copy. This applies to landing pages, emails, Facebook posts, Instagram posts, even a call structure. Really, it should go that way. And I've kind of been doing that throughout. I validated with Claudia. I mean, it's getting like a bit meta because I'm using her as an example in my demonstration, but yeah, anyway. So yeah, that's that. Course. How are we getting on? I feel like I've breezed through this and just zoomed.
There is so much to cover when it comes to this subject. And one thing I just want to reassure everyone on is when you start implementing this, it's like kind of learning a new language. But what will happen is you will just naturally start to talk in this way if you use it over and over again, and it will just become the language that you speak. So I do it subconsciously. Caroline does it subconsciously when we're just telling each other stories. Like we will relate to each other first, and then we'll demonstrate, and then we'll validate, and we'll just follow this formula. And we're often doing it without even knowing that we're doing it. And so you just become fluent in this process through practice. It will be
It's so simple.
Yeah, it's so simple, but it will be overwhelming to start with. The other thing that can be a bit overwhelming is you can't really see the picture when you're in the frame as easy as someone else can. Reason being, you're very emotionally attached to your business. You're very emotionally attached to your story. You're very emotionally attached to your darlings, which are things that you feel are important points that could potentially be irrelevant to the messaging. And that's why, you know, we're seeing quite a lot of we've worked with loads of people. We're constantly connecting and talking with lots of people. And, you know, it's not that some people are ineffective at producing messaging that's killer. It's just that, number one, the formula isn't in place. And number two, there's sometimes a bit of emotional attachment to the benefit of, you know, someone changing their life through working with you, that accidentally creates a bit of a fuzz in what it is you're actually selling. And some of the best marketing is just something that does what it says on the tin. You know, it's Ron seal. It's just really clear. It's really straightforward. I remember being in Cornwall. No, it wasn't Cornwall. Dorset, and I saw a pub, and it had written on the side in massive letters, "Eat, sleep, drink," or "Eat, drink, sleep." In that, actually, that's a better order. It was probably "Eat, drink, sleep." And that's what you do in that building. You eat, you drink, and you sleep, because they've got bedrooms. And I was like, it's just such clear, simple messaging. It's not, you know, we serve the most deliciously glorious, amazing foods that will enlighten your senses and make you feel so invigorated with an abundance of energy, so that you can sip on your glorious wine and lay in our deliciously comfy beds for a
hear about Bob who found enlightenment under our willow tree in a summer pub garden. He was once a crackhead and struggling to feed his family, and now he's a millionaire mogul. Like, it's like there's so many unrealistic stories that I read, and I think this also intimidates people, because they're like, oh, I don't have this story, let me fabricate something. And it's just, it feeds into it. It feeds into this constant need, like this constant copying of other people and learning from people that are doing it terribly. So yeah, just clarity, simple clarity, process. And just one more thing to add to that, Cordelia and me, this is how, if when we have time to really think through our content, because we do a lot of stuff. This is all you see out in the front. This is a fraction of what we do. In the background, we have a full-on ecosystem, like platform to run, and networking events and customers to service. So what you see here, this is just the tip of the iceberg. But we go, right, we're talking through a promotion or something. We're like, what's the relate? We've got this language, like, how do you relate? Okay, relate is this. No, it's this. Okay, fine. We can just get through, we cut through the noise really quickly. Relate, demonstrate, validate, push. We really like able to communicate well with that. So yeah. I'm interested to have people book these calls with me.
Can I give Sylvia a shout out? We've got Sylvia watching on the live stream. She's done a little recap for everybody, which is awesome. She says she's just wanted to check she's got this right. So relate, CTA, 3 benefits, CTA, why CTA. Sorry, not sure if I've got this right. Is the feature the what/relate? I'm a bit lost in that question. Do you understand?
Relate, demonstrate, validate. Relate has a CTA in it. Demonstrate has a CTA in it. Validate has a CTA in it. Just a quick overview. I skimmed over validate. Validate can be as simple as it's almost like a before and after, but you want to wedge in the product because most people just do a completely irrelevant before and after. So you want to link it to the product. So I say before, then enters the product, and then enters the after. So as a result of engaging with the product, the after was able to happen. So you have to use a realistic story. And if you don't have clients yet or haven't got much experience, you are the experience. Like you will have learned something in your expertise and had experienced some kind of transformation or overcome something, especially if you're a coach. Your story is absolutely fine as a validate section. Like I experienced this, then I implemented these steps, then I experienced Y, right? So validate is before, product, after.
And a tangible demonstration of that has been this call, because where there have been multiple relate, demonstrate, validate sections within the call, the overarching one has been people are struggling with their messaging and it can be a bit fuzzy. This is how, this is why, and everything that came under that. Here's a method to unfuzz you. Oh, and I've worked with Claudia and I've worked with Mark, and this is the results that they got. And also the lady with the YouTube channel, this is the result that she got from just applying this. So it's not
also our application, like an anecdote between us. This is how we use it. Our experience with it is completely legitimate and flipping useful, actually. I think our experience is very important.
And Sylvia says, what about the visual look of the posts, emojis and photo video to go with it? I think that is a whole separate other conversation in terms of the visuals. But what I will say is it's a bit like doing a jigsaw puzzle. If you look after the edges, the middle will look after itself. If you've got really powerful messaging, that is the thing that is most likely to relate to people.
And in terms of, let's just say a landing page, because I apply this on a landing page, I structure it like that. And then I have a picture that relates, I have a picture that demonstrates, and a picture that validates. So I'm trying to, this is more of a conceptual framework. It's just that we're working with words more often, but it totally applies to the visuals. On a Facebook post, I would use a picture that evokes the emotion that you're trying to create, and I would test that with 3. You want to evoke the emotion of the solution. So in the relate section, problem, solution, call to action. The solution is the image that you want to create. So I would have an image of someone unfuzzed somehow, and often I'll just write that on a post, on a card, and have unfuzz your messaging and have like someone happy because they've unfuzzed their message.
Oh, I get it now.
Yeah, like exactly. So that's a really quick and dirty tip to for visuals. Use an image of, and use a face. Face is really helpful. An image of an expression that fits with the solution emotion you're trying to create. So clarity or confidence would be the ones I would test. I would test those 2. A face looking confident or a face looking clear. I would test those faces to see which one performed. Probably clear, I imagine.
Awesome. So Caroline, you've hinted at everyone that you've got an offer of some one-to-one calls with you. This isn't something, by the way, that we've done on this show before. This is a new thing. I'm not going to accidentally go in and explain it. I'm just going to pause here. You tell everyone why have we got these on offer when you're so busy, and how can people get them?
It's been a while since I did them, to be honest. I'm like, I feel a bit like, oh God, it's about time I did some.
Did the Rebels, Caroline? How could
Yeah.
you?
I think it's just like, it's a very quick, easy way for me to firstly connect with people, secondly, provide a value, thirdly, highlight my value. I'm not going to lie. There's going to be no pitching, just so we're clear that I'm not going to be pitching you my service, something for you all guys to maybe take into consideration about how you try and present yourselves to other people. I'm not going to be pitching. I'm going to present what it is on the tin. I'm going to try and help you get clear. However, it'd be great if someone does want to work with us as a result of having these calls. So yeah, it's to help out, to connect, to support you guys in a way that I know there's some desperate need of support, and also to highlight my value. But there will not be any pitching on this call. It's going to be completely contained to helping you with your quick fix.
Caroline is so busy. She's doing so many calls, looking after so many clients, and we've got a lot of projects we're working on in the background in terms of new things we're launching, things we're refining. So we've got space to take 5 rebels on one of these calls to help you with your messaging. There are only 5, and what we are going to do is select those 5 based on who we think is going to benefit most from jumping on and grabbing a one-to-one with Caroline to help you unfuzz your messaging, your North Star, the essentially around what it is that you're selling, so that you can be clearer in explaining that at networking events, on socials, in promotions, on launches, on webinars, wherever it is that you're currently selling your product. It's going to be so much easier for you to convey that message after this call with Caroline. So because we have a lot of rebels in our audience and we only have 1 Caroline, we've cleared space for 5. Here's the link. I'm just going to drop it into the chat here. That link is going to take you to a form to just basically give us a social media link, your name, your email, and also your telephone number, because one of the team will just call you to get you booked into Caroline's diary if you are selected as one of the 5 that we feel will be, will get the most out of this. We really want to actually help 5 people who are quite fuzzy and really do need some support. So that's essentially what we're offering here, and that call will take place in the next week. So we are on Wednesday now. I think we've got a couple of slots late this week, and then we've got a couple of slots open early next week. And so one of the team will be calling you to get you booked in for that session with Caroline if you are successful. So I've just dropped that into Zoom. I have also just dropped that over onto the Facebook live stream. I'm going to drop it into the LinkedIn live stream. And I think if I just put it on Restream just to be safe, then it might drop into YouTube as well. But there we go. There we have it. That is the link. Anything you want to add, Caroline?
Yeah, I would. We are. Oh God, we are being selective, based on. We've got some caveats as well. Like we need to. Yeah, there's basically. We hope we only get 5 applications. You're perfect. But yeah, if unfortunately we can't pick you, sorry about that. But we will. If we get lots of applications, we'll endeavour to try and do more. I think that's the best thing to say.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. So yeah, it's only 4 questions: name, email, give us a link to one of your social media accounts, the one that you use the most, preferably for business, and your telephone number.
Yeah,
so
be contactable.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to be able to contact you, otherwise we can't book you in. That's the kind of thing. But yeah, Caroline, that was epic. Thank you very much. I hope you guys are feeling like you are a bit clearer. As I said, there is now a PDF. I've already posted it. It's in the Rebellious Business Network Facebook group. If you're not in the Facebook group, I see a couple of people requested to join off the back of me saying this earlier. So just to reiterate, you just need to go onto Facebook and search for Rebellious Business Network to get into the Rebellious Business Network Facebook group. It's currently pinned to the top of the page. If you're listening to this on the podcast or you're watching a replay beyond 24 hours of this being live and it's not pinned to the top, head to the files section of the Facebook group and you will see it under unfuzz your messaging. It just will search the group for unfuzz, one word, unfuzz. But there we go. Awesome. So we've got people saying that they're feeling clearer already. That was incredibly helpful. This has been very useful. I like the simplicity of your approach. have dyslexia and I cannot stand or write long posts. Thank you, Caroline. Great info today. I think the rebels are happy, Caroline. I think you did them good.
I can sleep easy then.
Awesome.
That's all I strive for in life. Making the rebels happy. I actually do. That's a really big part of my life. I just want to make you guys happy. I didn't mean to sound sarcastic. That really is a weight off my mind.
You actually didn't sound
you guys.
sarcastic, but I understand.
Oh,
why.
good.
I just need to clarify that. Yeah.
Sometimes I make a joke. It was a joke, but then I was like, no, it's actually true.
All right. Have a wonderful rest of your day, guys. We'll see you in the Rebellious Business Network connecting. Keep your posts coming in terms of the video challenge and letting us know about you, what you do. Share your posts that you're sharing onto social media into Rebellious Business Network. Use it to build yourself an audience. We love seeing you guys getting involved in there. It's an amazing, amazing community. And we're going to be back next week with another session on, it's another session about building community, but this time building paid communities, building communities that are for clients, people that you're working with. And I'm going to unpack that for you guys next week on the show. But yeah, until then, have an epic week.